Japan finds itself at odds over many other industrialized nations when it comes to children in cases of divorce. The legal system grants custody to a single parent, usually the mother. Courts in many other nations grant joint custody. So parents here fight serious custody battles. Some even abduct their children across international borders. Some say the laws need to be changed. NHK World's Atsuko Iwasaki has more.
We want to see our children! Children have human rights, man! Joint custody now!
These parents say they've been cut out of their children's lives. They are demanding joint custody and visitation rights.
My wife took our children and has rarely let me see them. I have even considered suicide. Nothing is worse than having your own children kept from you.
My husband took our son 5 years ago and disappeared. I don't know where they are now, and I can't do anything about it.
Kevin Brown also feels powerless.
Children need both parents after divorce to be happy.
Brown is a U.S. citizen. He married a Japanese woman in 2002. The couple had a son 3 years later, but they separated in 2007. Brown says his wife took off with their son. He contacted the police, who told him they could do nothing. He finally found them 6 months later. Now he can see his son, but only about once a month. Brown says that's not nearly enough time. Not only can he not see his son more often, his wife was granted sole custody by the court.
Children are kind of shaped or molded by how their parents treat them. And I won't be so far I have not been a big part of my son's life.
Others are in a similar situation. Akihisa Hirata says he'd spent less than 15 hours with his young son over the past 2.5 years. He was working in the U.S. in 2009 when his wife took their 5-year-old back to Japan for a holiday. They never returned. His wife then asked for a divorce.
I hardly see my son, who for me is the most important thing in the world. Our ties have been cut. It's sad and heartbreaking beyond words.
Hirata returned to Japan last year and moved into an apartment near his wife and son. He's ready for his child to visit, but the boy never comes. Hirata fought for custody, but in late September, a family court sided with his wife. The judge said the child shouldn't have to endure a change of environment.
I'm not part of my son's life. I can't even walk hand in hand with him. I'm so sad. I feel like everything's been taken away from me.
Some lawyers say many parents who cannot see their children are suffering from depression. One father who was in the middle of a custody battle with his wife ended up killing his son and committing suicide. These parents will continue to appeal that the separation between husband and wife should not imply a separation between parents and their children. Atsuko Iwasaki, NHK World, Tokyo.
We're now joined by Kazuyo Tanase. She is a clinical psychologist who specializes in relationships between parents and children after divorce. So, Ms. Tanase, could you first explain to us the current situation here in Japan with respect to children in custody disputes?
Oh, yes. The number of newly filed visitation cases exceeded 8,900 in 2010. That's more than 4 times the number in 1999. There are many reasons for this increase. A major one is more fathers are involved in child rearing more actively nowadays. However, the system is still sole custody. That's quite clearly behind the times.
How does Japan's sole custody system compare with what exists in other industrialized nations?
Oh, yes. Japan is one of the few developed countries in the world to maintain this system. Before 1980, most developed countries had a sole custody, but empirical and longitudinal studies showed that maintaining contact with non-custodial parents is beneficial for children's well-being. That prompted the change. One major reason why Japan sticks to this system is because there is a strong belief that it's in the best interest of the child to be with one parent after divorce. So it's quite common for courts to limit visitation for non-custodial parent to just several hours per month.
But why is there a deep-seated opposition to the joint custody system in Japan to begin with?
Oh, yes. Some people are really worried about divorce cases involving domestic violence and child abuse. So in those cases, we have to be really careful and have to be seriously pay cautions, I think. However, the marital system must be modified in many ways in Japan to meet the needs of children of divorce. First of all, the current visitation system should be changed. Parents with no custody should be able to spend a substantial amount of time with their children, like weekends and long vacations with overnights, not just several hours a month. Secondly, couples shouldn't be allowed to separate or get divorced without a parenting plan in place. Finally, couples should be able to choose between sole custody and joint custody.
Thanks for your perspective, Ms. Tanase. Kazuo Tanase is a clinical psychologist and a professor at Kobe Shinwai Women's University. Thank you.